Good morning, rise and shine, my friends. Today is Wednesday, July 10th, and this is Wake Up with KERA News. I'm Katherine Hobbs. Thank you so much for starting your morning with me today. Highs are creeping back up today, and they'll peak around 96 degrees. You can expect mostly sun with just a few clouds. Okay, have y'all found your read of the summer yet? For me, at least, I feel like I read so much more in the summer than any other time of year, and I've been dipping in and out of my favorite poetry books and rereading some of my favorite really light, fun, summer, bubbly reads. But the book I'm most excited for doesn't come out for a whole nother month. It's The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. So to tide me over, I've been checking out the NPR summer reading list. There's 20 books on there, and there are so many for every single kind of taste. Check it out if you haven't already. But first, let's get you the news you need to start your day. Vice President Kamala Harris is in Dallas for the Alpha Kappa Alpha's 71st Biennial Bowl this week at the K. Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center. She joined the sorority as a student at Howard University back in 1986, but later today she's going to deliver the sorority's keynote speech as part of her Summer of Engagement tour. After this stop here in Dallas, she'll head over to Las Vegas for a moderated conversation at the Zeta Phi Beta sorority's Grand Bowl. Well, Texas Governor Greg Abbott says that it's not true that the president couldn't reach state leaders about distributing emergency relief after Hurricane Beryl. He went as far as to call Joe Biden's statements, quote, a complete lie. Yesterday, the Houston Chronicle reported that Biden was trying to track down the governor to secure the disaster declaration needed to release the federal aid, but Biden told the newspaper that he didn't connect with Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who is acting governor while Governor Greg Abbott is overseas on official business, until later that afternoon. A White House spokesman told the newspaper that federal officials attempted to reach out to Abbott and Patrick multiple times each, but the president didn't provide more details about his attempts to reach them. Pretty much any actor can tell you that auditioning for theater or film can be really, really daunting. It can also be exclusionary for marginalized communities, but there are some thoughts in the Dallas theater community on how that can be improved. KERA's Elizabeth Mayong hosted an Instagram live discussion with two local actors about just that, and then she spoke with KERA's Justin Martin about that conversation.
So, Liz, this year, you've been digging into the audition process here in North Texas. Why did you bring this group of people together in the first place?
In my reporting, I've learned that actors from marginalized backgrounds often face typecasting, bias, and discrimination during the audition process. We've also explored what local theaters could do to make auditions better for actors, and I really wanted to just drill down into it with these folks and have a firsthand account.
What did you learn from the Instagram live discussion?
Yeah, we talked about how theaters can help make auditions more warm and welcoming. Mona Lisa Amadar is a Filipino-American actor who says it's really helpful just seeing a staffer of color when you walk in for an audition.
Just the vast difference in walking into the lobby area of seeing another artist of color, just your first person-to-person interaction makes a big difference.
In the same way, she'd like to see staffers of color on the casting team. Amadar says having diversity among those key decision makers is critical.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What are some other key takeaways from the discussion?
Everyone talked about the need for a top-down change for auditions to improve, meaning there needs to be more directors, writers, and producers from diverse backgrounds. So I asked our panelists what's holding us back from making that happen. Christine Sanders is a local equity actor who works in voiceover and film, and she talked about the tendency for people in theater to just kind of work with who they know.
Who do you choose to keep in your social circle? And if everybody you keep in your creative circle mostly looks like you, lives like you, loves like you, you're not going to get very many different points of view.
I thought that was a really important point because it's getting at the heart of a cultural change that needs to happen. It's not that people don't want auditions to be more inclusive, but this is a natural pattern of behavior that theater folks need to actively work against.
I'm guessing that one would assume you'd have to work on growing that circle of people that you turn to, making it more diverse.
And we had another perspective from the founding artistic director of Amphibian Stage, Kathleen Calebro. She says the lack of diverse leadership, which really impacts auditions, has deep roots. Culebro says it starts with a pipeline of theater talent in schools.
We need to go into those schools and start offering them workshops. So we need to go in and support those teachers. And we need to also bring in theater artists of color to show them that they can be safe.
She also talked about privilege and how some people just can't afford to pursue theater, particularly first-gen college students or those who come from a more economically disadvantaged background.
You can't fix that in a day. You can't suddenly go, where are all the actors of color? They must not want to work.
I could be wrong, but this sounds like this is a systemic issue that goes much deeper than just the audition process.
Yeah, no, Justin, you're right. And that's why it's so hard to make a change. But also our panelists didn't want that to be an excuse for theaters to kind of throw their hands up and not try to improve auditions. There were some really practical takeaways each person recommended. Mona Lisa talked about cultivating a more democratic environment where actors are heard in the audition room and beyond. And Kathleen says, as a theater leader, that it's important to recognize this will be a process that takes time.
We ourselves are going to die if we expect to fix things overnight and don't have the patience to build those relationships.
It's a pretty intense call to action, but a necessary one. All of our panelists were very straightforward, and I appreciate it.
That was KERA's Elizabeth Mayung and Justin Martin. Well, good news for the Rangers. They beat the Los Angeles Angels 5-4 yesterday, and the Dallas Wings are gearing up to play the Phoenix Mercury this afternoon out in Phoenix. Did you know that time goes by faster on the moon? Not because I can only imagine it's like the thrill of a lifetime to have boots on the moon, but compared to Earth, there's a 57 millionth of a second time difference, which, certainly won't cause any jet lag, but it could make a difference when we're talking about highly technical equipment. NASA scientists' ability to track the moon and Earth time lag could mean the difference between navigational systems syncing up really well as crewed missions to the moon and beyond resume, or potential glitches. Dallas's PDMB Gallery is presenting 2 new galleries this summer. Portraits of Frida shares photographs of Paint of Frida Kahlo taken by her close friends. Also on display are photographs by Rhode Islander Ron Cowie. His Ocean Head series is a small exhibition of platinum prints he created using an antique lens on slow film. For more information about that and tons of other events happening across DFW, visit kera.org/calendar. Thank you so much for starting your day with me today. I am so glad you take a few minutes to listen each morning. Be sure to subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA newsletter, also by yours truly, at keranews.org, and give us a follow over on Instagram and Threads at KERATX. I'm Katherine Hobbs. We'll chat again tomorrow.